Well, welcome back to Spotlight on Scenery Part 2. I went ahead and temporarily staged the buildings and some of the accent pieces, get a better idea of the flow of which way these scenery should go. The center of the scene, obviously, is dominated by the winery. That is Lamac's Montego Vineyard. It was issued about a decade ago. The building came with these grapevines attached to the base all around the building. They snapped off rather easily with a precision screwdriver. The gardens, as well as the whole scene, is inspired by Thomas Kincaid Studios' Wine Country Living. My wife and I are big fans of Thomas Kincaid's work. We've replicated several scenes on the layout itself. This kind of just became a natural for this particular scene. The blue residence in the background is Thomas Kincaid's hometown spring series issued by Hawthorne Village. Everybody recognizes the Lamac's roll of cobblestones. I use it by itself. It's nice, it's handsome, but we're going to get outside our comfort zone here. We're going to cut it to shape it. We're going to match it to the cobblestones that come off of our structure base. Trying to be as random as possible. Trying not to paint two stones in a row. I'm coming back in and I'm adding a little bit of black wash. Kind of blend everything in together. And again, it's going to go on a little dark and then dry to a nice even tone. All right, folks, this is red sedum. If you've got one of these plants in your front yard or backyard, you've got trees. We're going to cut these blossoms off. They start off as real pretty purple. Actually, there's a couple of blossoms that are still changing. But once they get dry, they make great armatures for trees, and that's what we're going to use. There should be enough here to complete our little project downstairs. Okay, we're all set up to start applying our trees and foliage, ground foam. Got my little folding table here to make things easy and put everything close to hand. Starting off, we're going to use a combination of JTT blended turf, green blend, and Scenic Express light green flocking. I'm going to use good old Elmer's glue, full strength for this first application. I've already started applying the ground foam on all horizontal surfaces. At the back of the layout, working my way towards the front edge. I like to work in 8 to 10 inch sections of scenery, working my way forward, trying to keep in mind some of the more interesting scenery pieces I want to leave visible and cover up some of the old plaster and everything. Don't have to worry about all this stuff here at the bottom. All that's going to be blocked by the structure as well as the trees. All right, just going to come along with our full strength glue and ride these little ridges, these little outcroppings that I made. They're going to catch all our loose ground foam. And we'll start at the top, work our way all the way down to the bottom. I tend to like to use a spoon to apply my ground foam. Just makes it easier to control. Just kind of doing happenstance here. With the darker color. And yeah, we're going to lose a lot of scenery, but it'll hold on to what I want it to hold on. And if you're worried about throwing money away on scenery, you can always capture at the bottom and save it for later. Mine tends to go all the way down to the carpet, so it becomes a little harder to do. I know some of you must be going, no, what are you doing? That was great. Like I said, I deviate a little bit from the norm. Try and apply as much color to this rock face. And I've saved what I wanted. And this will just kind of like a magnet, and glue will catch it. And again, I'm going to lose about 75% of this when I go to vacuuming up. But that's fine, I'm used to that. Imagine how much I'd lose if I actually used the shaker portion of the bottle. Now by themselves, our red sedum trees are a bit Spartan in appearance. But grouped and stacked together, they do make a rather convincing forest. And most of these trees you're seeing here were made 4 years ago, so they really don't lose too much as far as their foliage or their color. They don't fade. Just going to add some hot glue. And we're going to come back in and add our little dirt path. We've effectively camouflaged our portal to the hidden trackage on the return loop. Pretty happy with how the trees wound up in the background. Even added some foliage on the opposite side to try to match up. The weeping willow trees are from Lomax. I think they're just gorgeous. You just don't see these too much on layouts. These together, this from decorative sprigs. The wife came down here and says, I really don't like that dark green tree. Let's pull that out and put some color to that. She also said, you need to do something about that purple tree. It just looks too much like fall, not like spring. Well, I got you here. We'll talk about some of the things that you go out in preparation for your scenery. I go to a lot of craft stores, Joann's, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, and I look in the floral sections. And sometimes you hit the jackpot. You can actually get whole sprigs that look like trees. These are from Joann's, part of their Bloom series. Also, I like to find the little floral picks. You have these. They come in bunches. And the thing is I use each one of these as ground foliage to snap off those blossoms with a cutting tool. They make fabulous foreground flowers. Repainted that tree in the background from the fall looking color to more plum color. Added some small JTT trees to look like grapevines in the distance. Teased them out really good and cut them. Started pulling the flowers down, stretching out the scene. A little bit of hot glue, that's all you need. Cut the shape, just keep the color scheme going on. Well, normally I like to paint the hard shell first before I apply any kind of scenery, but kind of realized that trying to put those grapevines down in the background there will be hard to do on top of blended turf. So I went ahead and hot glued them directly to the hard shell, and I'm just going to have to paint around them while I add it. It'll be a little bit more time consuming, but I think I like the results. And here's our finished scene. The background vineyard scene, it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. With some household paint used as glue for the ground foam, went on kind of easy. And then it was just a matter of bringing all the scenes forward all the way down to trackside.